Hi, What the HealthTech listeners. I'm your host this week, Hayley Kiddier, Marketing Executive at Radar Healthcare. This is the podcast where we tackle some of the trending topics, ideas and best practice within health and social care. This week we have a special guest joining us, Gemma Lloyd, Editor of Care Home Professional. Gemma is also involved with the Leaders in Care Awards, an event that recognises excellence and achievements within the social care sector, and one that Radar Healthcare has proudly supported for the last 4 years. So, welcome to the podcast, Gemma.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So, I suppose we can get started about the Leaders in Care Awards and what we're here for, and just to chat about that in subject. So it celebrates the hard and excellent work happening across the social care, but do you want to just give us a bit of an outline about it and what is it?
Sure. The Leaders in Care Awards is one of the biggest events in the social care calendar of the year. Everyone is always so excited to attend and talking about it throughout the year, and we're really ramping up discussion on that now. It's the night before the care show as well, and basically it celebrates all the hard work that is happening in social care, and it brings together care home operators and home care providers as well as suppliers, which we think is really important. We didn't feel a need to separate those sectors. We want everyone to come together and celebrate everyone and everything that is happening. We have about, I think it's 18 awards that are given out throughout the night. So it's a lot, but we're truly trying, recognising everyone. And in between we have dinner. So it's nice starter, the main course and dessert and drinks as well. So everyone can network throughout. We try to make sure things feel a bit more spread out rather than just sort of awards all in one go. It's working really well, and it's just hugely successful at the moment.
I suppose now in its 7th year, the Leaders in Care has changed as any award ceremony would. Do you want to just explain some of the changes that you've seen over the last 7 years and sort of what you think has championed that change?
So this is my 3rd award ceremony, so I've seen even just a little bit of change there, but I know throughout the years the audience has changed, the awards have changed, and this is all due to a changing sector. It's been 8 years, it's a really long time to have an event like this continue, and with that it's grown enormously. When it started out, it didn't have anywhere near as many attendees as it has now. It's just become hugely successful. And we really love that it brings home care and care home providers together. I think it's truly something different in the industry. A very recent change that happened was last year we introduced retirement living categories, because we felt that part of the sector was a little bit more quiet, but growing very, very fast. So we're, delighted to have launched something like that for them too. It's funny because actually one of the first interviews I ever did when I joined, when I started on Home Care Insight, was with a CEO of a retirement living operator. And he was just telling me about how it's a growing part of the sector, but also it's just another solution. The retirement living providers shouldn't be ignored. They are just as important. It's not just about providing a home there for elderly people. They actually are providing care, and that is a really big change that's happened in care. We launched new categories there,
Great. It sounds like there's so much change happening within the industry, and it's so great that you're able to keep up with that change and just kind of adapt and tweak the awards and the actual evening as well. And it's a great evening. For anyone that's not been before, do you want to give a bit of a touch on the atmosphere and what they can expect? Because it really is a celebration.
Oh, it really is. It's amazing. Everyone is always so excited. And it is so looked forward to. Everyone I speak to is just always discuss. I hear people talking, are you going to the awards? So the atmosphere is just, it's really positive, happy. It's different as well to other awards out there. I think that's really important to say. It's held in the evening. It goes on, we have music, lots of nice food and drink, and everyone there is just really in a good mood and excited for the night, and very chatty as well. There's lots of networking going on, and everybody just wants to talk and get to know each other, which is something that is really crucial at the moment, I think, for social care. We need to be talking to each other and networking, and it's nice that because we bring the whole sector together, everyone can learn from each other. More and more conversation I'm having at the moment is about the fact that we need to, information shouldn't be gatekept or anything like that. In order to tackle certain challenges, we do need to be talking to each other. So, it's nice that I think the awards do offer that, and as much as it's sort of a competition in a way because it's an award, it doesn't feel like that. Everybody is happy for each other, whoever is winning, whoever's nominated. It's just a really, really nice evening and good atmosphere.
Yeah, and even those that haven't been nominated or are just attending as guests of providers or whatever, it's a really nice evening and kind of sets the scene for 2 days. Because as you said, it's on the eve of the care show, so it really does give a shed of positivity, and especially then coincide with the care show as well for the following 2 days. You really get an in-depth chat on. So,
and those people who aren't actually who aren't nominated, they're still there for all the same reasons, celebrating and getting to know people in the sector. And I think it's really inspiring for them because there's no reason why they can't be nominated. They're there in the room, they're professionals, they're good at what they do, and it is just, it's a form of motivation to think that could be them next year as well. There's no reason why not.
Yeah. And you've always got winners every year, and
you do have winners
looking forward to. So I suppose that leads nicely. Have there been any key winners from the last few years that have really kind of taken you back a bit, I suppose, or you've really kind of been blown away by what they've been able to achieve?
I'm always, honestly, everyone involved, particularly when it does come to the shortlist, they're all just so innovative and thoughtful, and they're truly some of the best working in care. There's plenty of winners that have been, I found really inspiring myself. I'm always really interested in the winner of the Care Provider of the Year category, as well as our category that focuses on being innovative. So I'll come on to that, but that's something I'm really interested in because I think the innovative care providers are who are driving care forward at the moment. So it's always interesting hearing about why certain providers have been nominated for that award specifically, and it gives me lots to sort of go back into as well. I always like following up with them. So if anyone is doing anything innovative, please do send in your nomination forms for that category, and I'd love to follow up with you on that too.
That's great, and we'll see them Leaders in Care 2025.
Definitely.
So the Leaders in Care Award is one of the highlights within the Radar Healthcare calendar. We absolutely love supporting this event. What role do you think the industry stakeholders play within the Leaders in Care Award?
Well, ultimately, the sector, not just us, but the sector needs stakeholders to make sure that events like this can truly happen and be as high quality as they can be. They really help enhance the event, and it's also just so important for them to be there in the room to promote their services and raise that brand visibility. They play a big part in keeping the whole awards show fair and transparent as well, and ultimately it's so important to be there networking and getting to know your audience, who you're working with, who you might be providing a service for. It's sure to be there.
I think that also plays a part for what we kind of stand for as well, because like integration is such a huge part and it has been such a big topic within the last couple of years especially. But when providers all work together and are all present at the awards along with providers, suppliers, etc., everyone's together, it's kind of like joining up the problems that individual organisations have and showing that if we all work together there is serious change that can happen. And I kind of that kind of epitomises sort of what happens on the evening as well. Everyone's there networking, socialising, and it just kind of brings it all to life.
Exactly, and knowing that you're not necessarily alone in what you might be dealing with, and just, as you say, it's all about just going through changes together too and learning from each other.
I suppose leading on from that, what way do you think the Leaders in Care Awards will kind of help impact like the future of social care?
The Leaders in Care Awards have been doing this for a long time so far. The competition is really high and everyone wants to be nominated and up for the award, because being nominated as well and winning, it does really have huge credibility behind it. It's so useful for providers to have, because it is, we know they're obviously providing great care, but having something like the Leaders in Care Awards badge behind it really is affirming of that, and I think really helps drive customers and holds you accountable as well. People don't tend to slip once they have got the award, and because they want, for various reasons, but people want to be involved every year, and in order to do that you have to be very up to standard, because the competition is really high, and we whittle it down to about 5 nominees. So I think that's really important, because it keeps care quality strong and always improving year on year. There's always something new. We do get people nominating themselves again and providers nominating again. We can see what's changed in a year, and it can be really, there are drastic changes happening. So it's not only about holding yourself accountable, it is holding your competition accountable as well. There is a growing elderly population at the moment, and as well as that, there is just this week they talked about how dementia diagnosis rates are increasing, which is terribly sad, but also does just prove how much care is going to grow further, because it can't not. We are going to really need care, and it's going to be a growing industry. At the moment, care is one of the biggest employers across the UK. I don't think we quite grasp how massive that is, and that's right now. But as I'm sure everyone's heard, the population of the over 70s is increasing very, very fast. And unfortunately, dementia diagnosis rates are increasing as well. It's just all very telling of the direction that I think care is heading in. It doesn't have a choice. It's a good thing though, because hopefully it will bring more recognition to the sector, and we all know care needs help to improve and drive itself forward. So hopefully in the next decade, we surely will have more support. But with that, the Leaders in Care Awards will always be there supporting the care, celebrating what is happening, and making sure we are bringing to light what is going on in care. It's a real pinpoint, I think, because you can really see how much is changing when everyone is back in the room again the following year and the following year after that.
I think that's also really interesting as well. Like when everyone is back in the room, it is almost as well like nothing has passed. Everyone kind of knows everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost like just catching up with old friends when you're in that room, and you're having a great evening and you're just celebrating another year and everything that you've achieved. So I think that's also something so nice about social care as well is that it's such a friendly, welcoming community to be part of, and especially the Leaders in Care Awards, because it really does like epitomise that as well, and that kind of presence that's just around, and on the evening, it just brings it back and translates that back into.
Oh, I completely agree. I've been to various different awards in different markets in the UK, and nothing feels like how it has done at the Leaders in Care Awards, and just this side of the market, being in social care. The people are really different, the atmosphere is different, as we've mentioned. It's just everyone is supporting each other, and I think that's amazing and very telling of the direction everyone is heading in.
Yeah, I think that's great. So with that being said, we've kind of touched on like the atmosphere and what people can expect, but are there any like sneaky little bits that you can share with us on what people can expect on the evening? Attendees
can expect everything they've been used to so far and more. The number of people there will be bigger. We were really up on what we expected to be, where we expected to be last year, and it's going to happen again this year. So as much, I can't reveal too much at the moment. We do like to keep things a bit of a surprise for the attendees, but there will be some entertainment. We have the Care Sector's Got Talent winners that do come and perform their act every year, and that always goes down really well with everyone. Everyone loves that part. It will just be a fun event, and with lots of networking, lots of good food and drink and music too. We want everyone to come and have fun. I think that's the most important thing. And it sounds cliche, but I've spoken to people across the industry and they say actually these things don't happen enough. The sector can sometimes be a little bit empty on the event side of things, as much as we can think there's a lot going on. For the people who are working on the front line, sometimes there actually isn't that much. And that's why the Leaders in Care Awards is really special, because it isn't just about bringing, the people who are, as much as there are lots of people there who are at the top in attendance, we're bringing the registered managers in as well, and people who are just working across social care, really on the front line, because we want them to be there. We have some of the awards are for the registered managers as well, and that's always a really inspiring category. And the Leaders in Care Awards is so huge, so giving an award out like that to registered managers, it's just, you can see the joy on their faces, and I think it's just really, you can see how much it means to them when they do win. And even just being nominated, everyone, that's actually the category that people get most excited about in the audience. I always hear the shouting go up for that part, and you can just tell how loved these people are. We love that we can bring registered managers in the room as well.
Oh, just sounds... I mean, that was a great insight. And if anyone hasn't got a ticket, I'm pretty much sure that they want to come after you've just explained about that. Because, it just...
Yeah, I think people forget that, because you do these events, you sort of do think that it is just the people at the top, but that's not the case. We want, obviously, they're there in the room as well, and we very much love that. But, when we say we want to be inclusive, bring everyone together, we truly mean it. Yeah.
And I think that resonates as well the last few years, especially in, bringing everybody together for one night of celebration, positivity. It's much needed. There's so much bad publicity and negative surrounding social care, that celebrating for Radar Healthcare, especially celebrating our partners that are winning these awards, is something that we're really proud to support as well. So I think that's something that's also great about that.
And on the topic of bad press about social care, I think when you are at the Leaders in Care Awards, that's the real moment. That's what's really going on. It brings you into the reality. It's not just about care isn't defined by the way it's reported on, and when things do happen, it's not the sector's fault. They're pushed into, I think care is pushed into this position where it's really hard to avoid bad press, because there's so much there's lots not happening for it, like proper support from government and proper funding. With that in mind, and going to the event and seeing how much is being done despite appropriate support from government and funding, care is so inspiring, and you do really realise what is going on and what people are doing to make their own business as well as the wider sector better. It's amazing when you think about the position that care is in and how well they do, and it really does feel like it's by itself with the support of each other.
So I suppose we're just going to move on a bit now to you and I suppose Care Home Professional, because Leaders in Care Awards are brought to you by Care Home Professional and Home Care Insight. So you recently took over as editor. So what kind of vision do you have for the magazine and the publication? Where do you kind of see yourself taking it?
I was editor of Home Care Insight for 2 years, and towards the end of my time there, I was really happy with where the magazine had got to and grew to, and I knew that worked. So I'm channeling a similar approach now into Care Home Professional. That approach is keeping things modern. I think I enjoy making the magazine look and feel modern. I think that's just so important. I want the media to feel good and up to date. And when I'm often at talks, at trade shows, there is a lot of focus on keeping how we can modernise the sector. And so I'm trying to channel that into the magazine as well, in its overall look and what we are talking about. And it's, I want to give it a luxurious feel. I'm really going to focus on the providers who are doing things differently, whether that's being innovative or just approaching care delivery or your workforce in a different way. I really want to try and get to the bottom of that and report on that a bit more, because I think things can sort of, like we say, sort of stagnate in care and end up a bit samey. And as the Leaders in Care Awards prove, everybody's doing things so differently. Like I said, we even have the Innovative Provider Award. So I definitely want to dive further into that in CHP. And when I mention care providers doing things differently, lately I've noticed I'm getting news through about certain care home operators winning, major awards for their workplace and the way that they work, and I think that's really interesting and something I would want. I want to dive more into within the future of CHP. Why are they winning major awards? And this isn't just in care, this is sort of across the board. They're clearly doing something different on another level too, and that's improving, making things better for them in the way that they work. Another big focus is sustainability at the moment in care home design. There's lots of care operators at the moment, I've noticed, are installing solar panels to reduce their energy bills and carbon footprint. It's just things like that I'm wanting to learn more about.
So we know that the social care sector is changing in line with the new government that's come in, and rightly so, it does need change. Bodies have been asking for this for years. What kind of things do you think are the key topics in which should be changing, and how are you hoping to tackle that?
Okay, well, CHB and HCI both work as a voice for the industry. I think, it's not just about reporting on news. We want to work as a voice. This is how I think working with publications like ourselves is a very important way on how we can be heard. It was actually when we were at the Leaders in Care conference at the end of May, John Renison, who is Home Care Treasurer, and he is also founder of his own care business, we were talking about communication with the CQC and how we can improve it. And he said that providers need to be utilising the media a bit more, talking to the media a bit more, people like ourselves as well, just to really use your voice. Speaking of the CQC, it is obviously going through some major changes at the moment, which is driving many people quite mad, understandably. They recently just issued a public apology for the failing reforms of the way that they monitor care providers. So I think, you know, the CQC is always a major focus, but it's going to change again this year in the way it works. So that's going to be a big focus and just a big topic of conversation, even more so than usual. And again, we'll stick with, I'm sure, the conversation will stick with recruitment. Care is still struggling.
I think one of the things that we work in the industry as well, and I've kind of noticed, is it kind of links with the CQC as well, but lessons learned is kind of like becoming a lot more of a hot topic, and just really people navigating exactly what they are learning. And those providers that are doing the innovative care, that are doing the top care providers, they're the ones that are driving changes as well, because they've got visibility and able to see what they can change. So I think that kind of links back to what you were saying about the CQC, and it really is, providers sometimes now have got a bit more insight as to what's really doing well and can make that change as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with that, I'm in contact with the CQC every month, and we have set up a regular guest column from them. And I think that's a really important way to make sure that they are consistently talking to our audience, telling them what they're doing, it's, you know, holding them accountable, keeping providers up to date as well.
Yeah, and such an important subject as well. And I think things in social care sometimes do change fast, and you know, that transparency and that communication is something that's so key. And there are lots of ways that people can get information, but do you find then that the magazine, the publication, is still something that people kind of look forward to every month?
Definitely. Our website is hugely popular, as well as the print magazine. People really look forward to it. And lately, a couple of suppliers have said to me how when they visit care homes, they are seeing care home professional out on the coffee tables, and it's just being picked up by plenty of people, everybody who works in the home, and maybe even the residents as well. So we're really unique in the media reporting side of care, because we are so frequent. We really are, you know, we're posting news stories every single day, sending out news alerts to our audience. And then obviously we have the print magazine that does go out once a month too, which sort of comprises of everything important that has happened over the month, as well as more in-depth interviews and features.
So I suppose kind of leading on from that, like innovation, digital transformation, have kind of been buzzwords that have kind of taken over the industry. But what specific topics or issues do you aim to highlight more prominently in relation to those?
Yeah, they are going to continue to be, you know, the buzz and what people are talking about. There's no escaping that. Moving forward, we have a new government now, the Labour Party. Obviously, this is a massive difference. The Tories have been in power for a very long time now. So what the new government is up to is really going to be a major focus for CHP. There was a huge disappointment when earlier this year the government changed the rules to the visas and made it really difficult for overseas workers to come over. I think we're likely to be touching on that a bit more, because that is definitely an area that is going to be changing a lot over the next year, particularly when we turn back to the fact that the elderly population is increasing and care still needs more support from the government, and it is going to grow. I don't see how we're going to be able to do it without the help of our overseas workers. They've been described multiple times by leaders in the social care sector as our lifeline. So the fact that it was even changed in the first place is crazy. So I think that's definitely going to be something that is coming up more over the next year, because it is going to have to change. Maybe not the next year, but at least in the very near future.
I think that's really interesting, and how it's going to play out, and whether there might be a shift towards more of a change in perception on a career in social care. I think it's slowly starting to change, and I think awards ceremonies like the Leaders in Carers Awards really do showcase that a career in social care is something that's positive, rewarding, and hopefully then as that progresses, you know, there might be a nationwide shift in how we view working in social care. So I suppose, like, coinciding with the shift in social care and the shift in culture and everything like that, sustainability is a massive issue for individuals within the care sector and also for care providers. How do you see care professional kind of adapting to those changes within the next couple of years?
It's only up until recently that we've sort of are hammering home on focusing on a digital first approach. So at the moment we are focusing on how we can be producing more digitally. We do obviously have a news alert every day, and the magazine is monthly, so that's not actually hugely frequent, but the market is still after the print publication.
Do you see the way in which you're talking about the features within the print magazine slightly differently than to the digital led stuff? So your digital newsletters maybe more like in news and your upcoming topics, and then do you see like the magazine more of like a review, more thought leadership? Then is that kind of what you think?
Care home professional, we're definitely very focused at the moment on adopting a digital first approach. So whilst we do have our magazine that still goes out every month, there is a place for that. People are very interested to read that, hold on to it as well. It's not just going in the bin, especially if you're featuring them. People are proud of them. People do want to hold on to them. CHP works as a bit of a luxury in that sense as well, because sometimes you can't beat just literally sitting down in the staff room, picking up the magazine. You don't want to be on your phone all the time. But, you know, as I said, we are still focused on being digital first, and that is how people are receiving the news every day. We are producing a lot more online, obviously, as we have more scope to do so. And it's also more immediate as well, rather than the magazine is a bit more sort of a slow gratification product. We'll also be focusing on sustainability and providing educational content on that as well. If we go back to buzzwords, sustainability is important, and next year I will be planning somewhere to do a sustainable issue special, which will focus on just all things sustainable, whether that's just in the way of working, the environment. There's so much to be said for that, and producing that kind of content is, I know, very important to our readers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just going to be one of them topics that continues forever, isn't it? We've all got to strive to be more sustainable, and I think everyone's got to be able to contribute to that. So providers, suppliers, publications, we've all got to work together to create a more sustainable sector. But so at the end of every podcast, we like to ask our guests what the HealthTech moment is. At this point, we've just heard about every kind of story, whether it be funny, a bit memorable, inspirational. There is no end to what we've kind of heard on the podcast. So Gemma, what is your what the HealthTech moment?
There's actually two I want to mention here. So a really amazing moment does come back round to the Leaders in Care Awards. Last year, Jane Townsend, CEO of Home Care Association, won our Lifetime Achievement Award, and that is just, one of the biggest awards of the night. Well, the biggest award of the night. And she was, for starters, she was so surprised, shockingly, because I think, she is so deserving of an award like that. But it was really special to actually see her shock in a way. She just couldn't believe it, and it was a very moving moment for her. She'd actually said to me in an interview a few months before this moment that she's in and out of meetings, and she's often wondering to herself, am I really making a difference? And of course, we all know she absolutely is. She's an asset. The sector is lucky to have her. And as she went up to stage to collect the award, the whole room stood up, and it was just a really, really special moment. And it was, you could see she was just amazed and stunned and very moved by it all. And so it was amazing for us as a show organizer to be able to do that for her. She is so deserving of it. And the other moment that I wanted to mention was we launched the Leading Women in Care Awards in March on International Women's Day, and that was it was a launch of an event, and we ended up selling out twice, which we didn't really expect. But we'd noticed there was a gap in the market. But the excitement for the event and to be there, everybody wanted to be there. We were truly blown away, and it was remarkable, really, to just listen to the fantastic stories from women in care who are doing just the most wonderful things. And it was great to be able to get providers thinking about that side of things too, and what they can do for women who are working in care.
It's such an important topic as well, and one again that we hope to see again next year as well, as you continue it and stuff. And I think that's the importance as well within with what you're able to do is you're able to bring the Leaders in Care Awards, the Leaders Women's in Care Awards, and just keep bringing them every year and really pinpointing that they're really important topics, and also shedding light on the key individuals that leading the change.
Yeah, it's an excellent point, and all our events are purely about celebration and really offering people and care operators that accreditation for all their hard work. The awards aren't just about just being handed the award. It means so much to people who are there, whether they're nominated or winning, and we're just very proud to be able to provide that for people and provide something different as well.
Yeah, that is excellent. So I just want to say thank you for joining us, Gemma.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone for listening. And for those attending the Leaders in Care Awards, we very much look forward to seeing you on the night. So join us in a couple of weeks for another brand new episode, and don't forget to rate and subscribe. And if you have any questions for us or Gemma, then please email us at whatthehealthtech@radahealthcare.com. Thank you.